What we do here is go back.
Yo, who the f is MattCMG?
Can I get oh yeah? Shout out scumbags. I'm a real scumbag. Shout out to my scumbag. Hey paisanos, and welcome back to Internet Idiocracy, the show where we make fun of the dumbest shit from all corners of the internet. I'm your host MattCMG, and today let's talk about Twitter.
Hey, Twitter world.
Now, longtime viewers of the channel might be thinking,
Hey, dickhead, you already did a Twitter episode.
and you are correct. But now, the game has changed a bit. Back when I made my In Defense of Twitter video, the point was to essentially downplay the common sentiment at the time of Twitter bad, because I simply just didn't see it that way. But now, things are very different. Since the last time I discussed the platform, Elon Musk purchased the site for an exorbitant amount of money and made a lot of changes. Some good and some bad, but overall, the public opinion of Twitter has shifted from it's kinda cringe sometimes to oh my god, please make it stop. So today, we're gonna be taking a look at how much Elon Musk has changed Twitter and why, as much as I hate to admit it, it is significantly worse than it used to be. So smash that motherfucking like button or I'll turn your eyes into X's! And let's get into it. I just realized that intro would have made a lot more sense after the first topic. That's showbiz, baby! I'm gay. So first off, elephant in the room, the name change. Not long after purchasing the site, Elon changed the name from Twitter to X. Well, that's a pretty stupid name in and of itself. It gets even stupider when you realize that Elon Musk is absolutely obsessed with the letter X, to the point where he had to put it in his child's name. Shout out to that little fella. I hope they aren't getting bullied to shit. Anyways, X is a gay name, and Elon is cringe as fuck for thinking that it's cool. No, look at me, I'm so edgy and mysterious. I'll call it X. What are you, fucking 12? Children on Xbox Live in 2012 think X is cool. A grown adult should find it lame as hell. I guarantee you his gamer tag is like XX I'm gay XX. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out penis. Hey look Elon, I found your favorite show, Nickelodeon's hit animated series The X's. The deep cut for you. On top of that, the rebrand also came with a complete removal of anything relating to Twitter. No more Twitter bird, no more birdhouse home button, tweets are now just called posts. It's actually kind of amazing how he managed to suck all of the fun and charm out of the site. While this seems trivial all things considered, it's actually rather important for your social media site to have a particular vibe. You know, Instagram's logo was designed after a Polaroid camera since it's the picture taking app. Shit like that, you know what I'm saying? You know, Twitter's whole bird theme wasn't necessarily integral to the functions of the site, but it gave it charm and it made it stand out from any similar sites out there. Like, I'm pretty sure the intention was like, oh, it's like a bird, you know, a bird tweets a short little thing. So you send out a short little thing, it's a tweet. You know, I'm gay. The X rebrand has made everything so much more boring, generic, and just generally soulless. It no longer feels like a fun app to go on for a quick joke or something like that. It feels like a fake app in a movie about a collapsing civilization. Except it's a real app and our civilization is most certainly collapsing. Really hit the nail on the head with the apocalypse vibe, I guess. I think the whole name change and rebrand really puts into perspective what kind of person Elon Musk really is. You know, he tries to be this hardcore epic memer who posts the best and most epic memes, but fails to realize that the way he does that carries massive band kid energy. Like, do you guys remember back in like the 2016 era when PewDiePie had Elon on the meme review and it was considered like a huge deal? I always think back to that Elon Musk where he was this beloved internet figure who was doing all these goofy, wacky things. Like, yeah, he was a multi-billionaire who was building spaceships and trying to solve transportation issues, but he was also doing fun stuff like making flamethrowers and posting memes. He was on Rick and Morty. I think that really tells you all you need to know.
Well, it's Rick and Morty time.
That was the Elon that I remember. Granted, even by back then standards, Still kind of cringe, but at least a little bit endearing, like maybe 2% endearing. But for whatever reason, in the years prior to his purchase of Twitter, public perception of the guy completely flipped. Instead of the funny meme science guy, he became a complete fraud who isn't nearly as smart as he says he is. Now, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm smart enough to really weigh in on any of this, but a lot of highly educated science people have criticized Elon for not really knowing what he's talking about, despite portraying himself as a really intelligent guy, when in reality, he's just a businessman with a few bachelor's degrees. Like, he kind of portrays himself as like this genius engineer, the smartest man on earth, crypto real, when in reality, he's just like, I'm kind of good with money and was wealthy before that.
And the solution is get rid of the guy who's the most genius inventor, perhaps, of all time.
Golly, sucking freaking penis, bro. Get off his penis, man.
His past is filled with all kinds of shady shit, some of which we may touch on in this video, but my point is that Elon's former public perception has waned and we are now seeing who he truly is. I think the reason that Elon as a person is really cringe is that he is simply just a sauceless individual. You know, he tries to be quirky and funny, but he tries so hard that it comes off as inauthentic and it makes him unlikable. Case in point, the time he hosted SNL in 2021. Now, SNL hasn't been worth watching in several decades, says me, guy who has never seen it, but when he hosted, it was particularly unfunny. Like, come on, dude, the Wario costume? Are we really doing a Mario mushrooms joke in the 21st century? Whoa, dude, wouldn't it be freaking crazy if when Mario ate the mushroom, instead of getting big, he got, like, really high? That would be freaking crazy, dude. These jokes were dated even back then, and I think therein lies the thing that makes Elon cringe. His sense of humor has not evolved past 2014 Reddit memes. You know, these things were funny at the time and were what made him endearing back then, but his humor hasn't changed since then, so everybody who once liked him have since moved on and no longer find those things funny, leaving him as an old tryhard. Nowadays in 2024 when he posts memes, it is literal boomer Facebook tier shit. It's fucking heinous. Why did he have to buy Twitter? Why couldn't he just buy Reddit? Reddit would have made so much more sense. It would have been so much more in character. He would have probably made Reddit actually better. We live in the wrong fucking timeline, I think. But okay, we've shat on his personality enough, so let's take a step back and get into his actual handling of Twitter. Now, one thing that I originally gave Elon props for was that when he bought the site, his promise was to turn it into a free speech-centric platform. Twitter under Jack Dorsey was very insistent on censorship for people or ideas that they didn't agree with, and while they were totally within their legal right to do so, it was definitely not conducive to a free speech experience. I mean, I think the term digital town square is really pretentious because, like, dude, it's fucking social media. But at its core, that is what the internet should be. It should be a place where people can express whatever ideas they want without fear of censorship, and then let the people decide if they are based or cringe. You know, say what you will about people like Alex Jones, but I do not agree whatsoever that he should have been deplatformed the way that he was, because at the end of the day, it should be up to the people to decide if they want to take his ideas seriously, not big tech corporations. On paper, this was something that I was totally on board with. The problem is that Elon Musk is a massive pussy with a fragile ego and eventually succumbed to the very same thing that all free speech platforms eventually fall into. Like I mentioned, Elon has band kid energy, so of course, he can't take criticism. Since taking over Twitter, he has done numerous things that expose him for being a massive pussy. For starters, he has actually straight up just outright banned people for simply making fun of him. For example, Juniper is a popular Twitter personality who would often make fun of Elon, and at some point she was just banned outright for no reason and not allowed to appeal. Similarly, this dude has tried his absolute hardest to destroy any instance of this photograph from being posted to the website. For those who tabbed out or are not paying attention or whatever, this is an image of Elon Musk hanging out with Ghislaine Maxwell, a known accomplice of Jeffrey Epstein and convicted child rapist. Pedophile says what? That's also not to mention the numerous features that he has removed from Twitter specifically because people use those features to make fun of him. He has attempted on numerous occasions to remove the ability to block users on the site because he cannot stand that people were blocking him for being annoying. Like, he is so full of himself that he cannot stand when people don't want to listen to him. When his tweets weren't getting the attention that he desired, he made his programmers fix the algorithm so that he'd outperform the literal president of the United States. What a petty little fucking pussy. Like, that is Genuine pussy behavior. Pussy! And now he's locking a proper block feature behind his Twitter Blue paywall, which is fucking absurd. I don't know the legality of that, but the fact that you can block somebody and then still see their tweets it defeats the whole fucking purpose. That's the entire point of the block feature. In case you needed further evidence for why Elon Musk is a sad fucking weirdo, he has an alternate account where he fucking LARPs as his own 3-year-old son, or like a baby version of himself or something, and he just strokes his own ego on the account all day. I don't remember the specifics of it, but like, that's a real thing. He actually owns this account. That's confirmed. That's canon. This guy's fucking weird. Elon forced everybody's likes to be private, specifically because when they were public, he got caught for liking tiny penis jerk-off instruction videos. Listen, I like me a good old JOI, but that's pretty gay, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, to reiterate, I think that unbanning accounts that were previously banned in the name of free speech is a good thing. That would have been an Elon W if he didn't have an obvious right-wing bias. Now, to be clear, there's nothing wrong with being right-wing as long as you're not, like, seethingly bigoted. But if you're gonna be the guy to run a free speech platform, then you cannot be biased like this, or at the very least cannot act on that bias. Elon Musk does exactly this, though at first, it wasn't that bad. For example, when accounts like End Wokeness or Libs of TikTok would go viral sharing some kind of statistic or news story, Elon would often reply to them with very vague phrases like interesting or thinking emoji. Nothing too crazy, and was all vague enough to the point where it could be interpreted as him just being inquisitive, right? But fast forward a bit and he has gone full mask off. In the past year, he's been going off about the woke agenda, spouting off typical Fox News talking points, retweeting accounts like End Wokeness that spread straight up misinformation, and just generally being up his own ass.
USA! 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 USA!
Now, in Elon's defense, in fairness, the Twitter algorithm has always favored right-wing accounts to some degree. This has been the case since 2021, before he even bought the site. But under his reign, it's all gotten significantly worse. Tweets from these accounts will show up on your feed even if you don't follow them, or even if your algorithm can tell that you have zero interest in politics. He has, quite literally, become the very thing he has sworn to destroy. Like, he wanted Twitter and social media in general to stop having a left-wing bias, but he overcorrected and is now a straight-up chud. To stop one propaganda machine, he became the exact opposite propaganda machine. This has also enabled a lot of just straight-up unfettered racism on the site now. I could literally open the app right now and within 2 minutes find some white nationalist account unironically calling black people monkeys or some shit. You can just openly be a Nazi on Twitter now, and Elon Musk will promote you for it. And to reiterate, if you do want a true free speech platform where anything's allowed, then this stuff should also be allowed. It's the fact that he's actively promoting it that's the problem. This is pretty much the same issue that any free speech alternative platform falls into, whereby free speech, they really just mean allowed to be racist. Truth Social, Telegram, Minds, and a bunch of others that you've probably never heard of were created specifically to escape the left-wing bias that most of the big platforms have, but because of that are inherently right-wing. My point being, ever since Elon took over, fucking Stormfront is somehow less racist than Twitter is now. I'm going homo mode, motherfucker. I'm gay, motherfucker. I love cock, motherfucker. All right. In hindsight, I guess it kind of makes sense how Elon went down this path, because he wasn't always like this. Well, maybe it was to some degree, since he grew up in apartheid South Africa where racial segregation was completely normal to him, which when combined with the fact that his family was already incredibly wealthy from some not so ethical business practices, he was seemingly already predisposed to disliking poor and black people. Now granted, this is all a bit of subjective psychoanalysis on my part, not like definitive proof of anything, right? But allow me to introduce you to Exhibit B. Enter Vivian Wilson, Elon Musk's trans daughter. She recently came out against him after he did an interview claiming that, quote,
"So my son Xavier is dead. Killed by the woke mind virus."
The key takeaway, of course, is that he straight up admitted that the reason that he's on this right-wing crusade now is because his kid decided to transition. Anyways, Wilson put out a thread exposing just one of presumably many lies that he's told about her, claiming that she was harassed as a child for being too feminine, among a few other things. Now, obviously, this is a bit of a he said, she said type situation, but at the end of the day, Elon's a pretty shitty fucking parent. Like, even if the childhood harassment claim isn't true, he still went out and publicly denounced his daughter for being trans and just straight up came out as transphobic. Like, if you were an actual good parent, you would stand by your kid even if you don't understand them. I don't know. I think it's pretty amusing that the only way you can find an image of Elon with any of his children is with an AI-generated image. Instead of showing your kid love and affection, you're out hanging with Donald Trump, who clearly doesn't even fucking like you. Like, listen, if you're on his side and donating millions of dollars to his campaign, and he still doesn't like you, that's a pretty bad sign. Now, I was walking around and I saw Elon Musk. Elon Musk, the great Elon Musk. He bought Twitter.com. Not as good as Truth Social. Great platform, great site. And he's gay, he loves cum, he loves sucking my balls and making me squeal. But that's enough political bullshit, so now let's get into another issue with new Twitter. Monetization. My voice is so shot right now. I haven't actually filmed and recorded a video in a long time. My voice is so fucked right now. Shortly after taking over, Musk implemented Twitter Blue, an $8 a month subscription that gives you access to analytics, no character limit, no file size limit for videos, a verification badge, and most importantly, the ability to promote and monetize your tweets. Now, right off the bat, locking verification behind a paywall is fucking insane. The whole point of verification on not just the old Twitter, but every other social media site was to prove that you are who you say you are. This is what differentiates the official Dwayne The Rock Johnson account from the Dwayne The Cock Bronson parody account that tweets lolly hentai. If you let anybody get verified for a subscription fee, that defeats the entire fucking purpose of the verification. The way that Elon does this is particularly stupid by virtue of the fact that after receiving backlash for this, he implemented a separate verification system for brands and important people. He has this habit of removing features that he thinks are stupid, only to realize why those features were there in the first place, and then fixes them in the most backwards way possible. Anyways, monetization. Now, this is a good idea on paper, but it really only ends up benefiting the top 1% of users that already existed. This is supposed to be the justification for buying Twitter Blue, where they promise that if you buy it, it's basically free because the promotion and monetization will pay for itself. Like, yeah, dude, that guy with 12 followers who decided to buy Twitter Blue to get his tweets promoted is really gonna make a killing with his epic gaming tweets with freaking epic gamer memes. Like, no, that's not gonna happen, because when you combine the Blue promotion with the way the algorithm already works, it's just gonna further promote these already big accounts. And since monetization is now a thing on Twitter, we now have the same thing that happens on every monetizable platform. Low effort slop posted with the sole intention of making money. You know, all the big accounts out there that get hundreds of thousands of likes per tweet, like Kira Won't Miss, or Vids That Go Hard, or that guy whose name I'm forgetting, you know the one I'm talking about, or any of the ones you probably already know, have stopped posting actual funny stuff, and instead just post generic bullshit that only aims to cash in on the biggest trends. While this was always the case to some degree, there was at least some level of effort back in the day, but now that there is a financial incentive, posting has gotten significantly lazier. Like, dudes are out here getting paid for this shit now, but we old heads were doing this for the love of the fucking game. Like, come on, man. Vids That Go Hard doesn't even post Vids That Go Hard anymore. They just react to the news or whatever the fuck. And I'd also be remiss not to mention all of the absolutely horrendous ads, many of which come in the form of OnlyFans sponsorships and porn bots. Because there is now so much money to be made on Twitter, there has been a new wave of sponsored tweets in which some OnlyFans girl will pay these big accounts to promote them. This ends up being a win-win for them, since the OnlyFans model gets the exposure and the account gets paid for all of the horny engagement. But this is a lose-lose for literally everybody else. Okay, right, so I follow no context memes, right? So I expect to see no context memes. So why are they tweeting about how I'm a real freak if I've seen the Spider-Man video with an obviously cropped porn thumbnail and a fucking steak logo in the corner? And that's not even including all the times that these OnlyFans girls pop up in the replies of any remotely popular tweet. Go on the For You page right now, find any tweet with a lot of likes and engagement, scroll down to the replies, and I guarantee you'll see straight up hardcore porn within 30 seconds. The fact that this goes on completely unmoderated has made Twitter an impossible site to use while in public. And Elon wonders why advertisers are leaving the platform en masse. Can I get a Hoya? Can I get a Hoya? Can I get a Hoya? Let's get some Hoyas in the chat. I just gave myself fucking vertigo. I'm gonna die. Hey guys, dying guy here. I'm really dying in real life and I have cancer and AIDS. And speaking of OnlyFans porn accounts, a lot of the ones that you'll see in the replies are actually just straight up bots. Which leads into a whole separate issue regarding how out of control the bot issue has gotten. There have always been a lot of bots on Twitter, but they've only gotten more prevalent since Elon took over, and much like him, they've gotten stupider. There'll be like 12 accounts with different handles all replying to the same tweet with the exact same phrase of verbatim, exposing that they're clearly all using the same AI model. And better yet, you can even fuck with them sometimes and expose them by making them like unable to, understand your fucking AI prompt because they're clearly just a fucking AI. Anyways, my point is that if your whole intention is to create a site that promotes engagement and discussion with other people, then why the fuck are you also okay with half of your users not even being real people? Now, that seems a little counterproductive, wouldn't you say? Unless your goal is to make the site seem more populated than it really is. Dead internet theory much? Okay, at this point, I'm just bitching, right? And you might be thinking to yourself, hey, dickhead, if you hate Twitter so much, why don't you just move to Blue Sky? Well, to answer that question, I never actually said I don't like Twitter anymore. I just think it's being vastly mismanaged. I still think there's a lot of really funny shit on there, and it's kind of the go-to place to be. And two, the problem with Twitter clones is that none of them are Twitter. You can try to migrate your audience to Blue Sky or Threads all you want, but you've already built a following on Twitter for a reason, because that's the site where everybody else already is. Unless the site is literally shutting down, which most likely won't happen, mind you, nobody is going to bother to refollow every single person on a different platform because that is simply just too much of a fucking hassle. Absolutely nobody is going to do that unless they absolutely have to. In fact, I've actually tried to go and refollow a bunch of people on Blue Sky and Threads, and to avoid just typing in every name, I used a Chrome extension that searches for people for you, but the problem with that is that it can't find everybody, and a lot of people aren't even on the site yet. So you can't even find, you can't find a handle that doesn't exist, right? And the people who are on Blue Sky seem to only bitch and moan about how much Twitter sucks, even if they aren't directly saying how much Twitter sucks. Go on Blue Sky right now, you'll see a bunch of people like, haha, wow, this is such a more positive and enlightening platform, Shut the fuck up, dude. And Threads is even worse, and it has not gotten better in the past, year and a half of its existence. Motherfuckers, you moved sites for a reason, cool, good for you, so shut the fuck up about the one that you left, alright? Like I said earlier, the problem with alternative social media sites is that they're never as good as the main thing, and the ones that were created with any political bias just end up becoming an echo chamber in the purest sense. There ain't no progressives loading up Truth Social, and there ain't no conservatives hopping on Blue Sky. If I had to put money on any of these alternative platforms taking off, I think Blue Sky is probably the most likely. But it and Threads are still missing key features that Twitter still has, and are currently just riding the coattails of people who don't like Elon Musk, so as long as they feel like discount versions of Twitter, I think they'll stay relatively obscure. At least for now. Skibbity dop dop dop, yes yes. Skibbity dop dop, yes yes. Skibbity dop dop dop, yes yes. Skibbity dop dop, yes yes. Anyways, to close this video out, Twitter sucks way worse now than it did when I made my first video. While I do think a lot of the points I made in that video still hold up despite all the changes, I'd also be insane to deny that the site has gotten objectively worse. If you thought that Twitter was a hellhole before, which it really wasn't, then you don't even want to know what it's like now. But you probably already do. Because I just told you, it was a Jewish doctor. Will I ever stop using Twitter? Absolutely not. I've been watching this particular dumpster fire for over a decade now, and it has only gotten funnier as time goes on. I'm also just, terminally online and hopelessly addicted to the internet, so there's also that. But I don't think that you should stop using the site just because one insecure technocrat billionaire now owns it. You wanna know who owns every other fucking social media platform? Insecure technocrat billionaires. Whoa, who would've thought? You have to acknowledge the problems and then know how to curate your experience to avoid them. That's just kind of a rule of life, and it's amazing how many people take zero initiative to make Twitter usable for themselves, and instead just go bitching about the guy running it into the ground. Moral of the story, Elon Musk is a cringe gay pussy. Fight Mark Zuckerberg, you fucking coward.
We have just applied the Sweet Baby Rays.
But that is all for this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter at MattCMGYT. I'm also on Blue Sky and Threads for the fucking weirdos who also want to follow me on there. At MattCMG, or whatever the fucking format is. I don't really give a shit. Like, subscribe, Patreon, all that shit. I've been MattCMG, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Listen here, mate. Listen here, mate. Listen here, bloke. This here bloke wants to fight me. This here bloke wants to fight me. I want to fight this bloke. I'm gonna pop this bloke up his fucking noggin. I'm gonna bop him on it with a fucking cranium. Oh!
Hey Twitter world, this is yours truly. Hello Twitter world, this is yours truly. Hey Twitter world, it's me, yours truly. Hey Twitter world, yours truly. Hey Twitter world, this is yours truly. Hello Twitter world, this is me, yours truly. Hey Twitter world, it's me, yours truly. Hey Twitter world, it's me, yours truly. Hey Twitter world, it's me, yours truly.
Let's get some pussy tonight.